6 p.m. I call this meeting of the Smith County Emergency Services District 2 Board of Directors to order and certify there is a quorum present. Commissioner Arnold, Commissioner Wilson, myself. Absent is Commissioner Domney, who is out of town on vacation and will be excused, and Commissioner Thornton may be on his way, not for sure. And at this time, I'd ask everybody to please silence any of their phones and other electronic devices. And at this time, we'll have prayer and pledge of allegiance to the United States and Texas flags. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you thanking you for the many blessings you've given each and every one of us this day. And thank you for this day, dear Lord, because as it says, it is a present to each and every one of us. Dear Lord, we just ask that you would be with our men and women as they go about the duty of protecting our families and lives and property of our citizens. Be with the ones who are on deployment with Tifmus and the Panhandle with the fires they're having up there, and just watch over them. Be with the families of our men and women that do this job daily. Dear Lord, we just ask that you would be with each of us, watch over us, lead us, guide us, and protect us. These things in your Son, Jesus' name we ask. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item number 3, which is recognition of guests. And I'll just start. We have Sean Salter here, who's Director of Christus EMS, and James Stefka, who's here with Global Medical Response, and then we have representatives from ARP Police Department and other people from ARP, which I don't know their name, but at this time we're going to do a public recognition of heroic and civic action, and I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Arnold since it happened in his area.
Recognition of heroic civic action. The Board of Commissioners of Smith County Emergency Service District Number 2 wishes to formally recognize 3 individuals whose extraordinary courage and defensive action resulted in the preservation of human life during a critical emergency incident. At approximately 14:42 hours on Monday, February the 2nd, emergency responders were dispatched to a major motor vehicle collision in the 400 block of West Longview Street in Arp, Texas. Responding agencies include the Smith County ESD number 2 with units from Arp, Chapel Hill, Battalion Chief 2, alongside with Texas Department of Public Safety, Arp Police Department, and Overton Police Department. While units were en route, dispatch advised that the involved vehicle was actively on fire. Upon arrival, fire personnel encountered a passenger vehicle heavily involved in flames and presenting immediate life-threatening conditions. Prior to the arrival of fire and EMS resources, immediate and heroic action was taken by individuals already on scene who willingly placed themselves in extreme danger to extricate the occupant from the burning vehicle as conditions rapidly deteriorated. The following individuals are formally recognized for their exceptional bravery and life-saving actions. Officer Quentin Hertel, Arp Police Department. Dennis Lee, Citizen. And Mr. Sonny Flora, Citizen, Arp, who is not here tonight. Also, protection of human life. Their willingness to act without hesitation despite the immediate threat posed by the developing vehicle fire reflects the highest ideals of public service and civic responsibility. Affirmed by officials on scene, without the immediate intervention of these individuals, the outcome of this incident would likely have been tragic. Their action embodied the spirit of service that strengthens our communities and supports the mission of all emergency responders. On behalf of the Board of Commissioners, the leadership of Smith County ESD number 2, and the citizens we are honored to serve, we extend our deepest gratitude and formally commend Officer Quentin Hertel, Mr. Quintus Lee, and Mr. Sonny Flora for their heroic and life-saving actions. Their courage made the difference between a tragedy and survival.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all.
Nice job. Can I get a picture? Yeah, would you, Nikki will be here in just a couple of minutes, and when she does, we'll step out in the lobby and we'll all take that picture together with her. How about that? That'll work.
Thank you, Matt. All right, we'll move on to item 4, which is public comment. We have anybody signed up for public comment? Not you're aware of? Okay, haven't received any. All right. So with that, we'll move on to item 5, which is consent agenda. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action related to the payment of accounts, bills, invoices, payroll, requests for reimbursement, requests for other payments, transfer of funds, and amendments. As you can see, under 5.1, it's the ratification of our payments in the amount of $186,618.64.
Make a motion under 5.1 ratification. We authorize the payment of $186,816.64.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Arnold to approve the ratification and payment of bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 5.2 is our bills that we need to approve tonight. And that is a total of $1,150,966.11. That includes our payroll, our workman's comp, pieces of equipment, employment services, and all that. Everything I looked at seemed to be in order.
Make a motion that under 5.2 we pay our bills $1,150,966.11.
Motion by Commissioner Arnold to pay our bills in the amount of $1,150,966.11. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. 5.3, this is district credit cards. I looked at those, didn't see anything out of the ordinary. And so we just need to approve the credit card bills in the amount of $38,781.88.
I'll make them.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll make the motion that we pay our credit cards in the amount of $38,781.88.
A motion by Commissioner Wilson to pay our credit card bill in the amount of $38,781.88. Second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Arnold. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 5.4 will be our contract payments, which is our Blue Cross Blue Shield and stipends for chiefs and training officers and bookkeepers. And then also January stipends for Winona and our district electric bill. And that totals $34,022.19.
Make a motion that we paid our contract payments under 5.4 for $34,022.19.
A motion by Commissioner Arnold, we pay our payments, in the amount of $34,022.19. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Under 5.5, urgent purchases, there were none this period, and under 5.6, emergency purchases are also none. So moving on to 5.7. This is just the payments that were pre-approved, and it's for information only, which are our Blue Cross Blue Shield payment of $98,146, and our Verizon wireless bill, which is $5,370.72. And that's just for information, no action to be taken on it. Item 6, receive, discuss, and take action relating to the following reports. Board of Commissioners, February 2nd, 2026 minutes. And on the minutes, I did find one mistake. It didn't list you, Mac, as being here. So okay. I would say we would approve the minutes with the addition of Commissioner Arnold's name being added to the minutes. So I'll make that motion. And I'll need a second.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. All right. Let me get back down here. All right, item number 7, Executive Director's Report.
Okay, as usual, I will bring a few highlights to you. You have the written report already. So I'll start with mentioning that we have the site visit by the consulting firm, Emergency Services Consulting International, scheduled for April 6 through April 10. And most, or pretty much by the end of this meeting, we will have all the commissioners scheduled in. So I would like to mention to all the fire chiefs to be ready to schedule in a meeting 1 hour during those days, April 7 through April 10, where you could spend an hour individually with the consultants. So Chief Greaser will reach out during the week and ask you to commit to a particular date and hour. Evening is fine. Moving on, Jamestown is progressing quickly. Scheduled to be complete and ready by the end of April, which is the scheduled time, so knock on wood, that still stays. We have received the matching grant for the Chapel Hill monster truck. Or brush truck, okay, I'm sorry. And as I understand, there's just a few tiny bits left, and then it can go into service. Yeah. The movement of finances, over the past several months, we mentioned how overtime is exceeding budget, and it's basically made up by lower costs in regular salaries. However, we're getting close now to a place where that margin of coverage is narrowing. So Chief Greaser and Larry and myself, we've all spoken about various ways to do what we can to cut down on overtime and manage that. So I just want to bring that to your attention. So we'll talk more about that in the upcoming meetings. On the investment front, thanks to the Federal Reserve, we're doing better than budgeted, so we'll probably come in at least what the budget is, but most likely a little bit better. And the March meeting, according to Keith Beam and Squires, we are intending to present the audit to you. So unless something unexpected happens, be ready to have the auditors come and present the written report for you at the next board meeting. So that's all I have. I'm ready for questions.
I don't have any. You got any questions, Charles?
No.
Max? No, good. Okay. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Financial reports. Keith?
Thank you, Commissioner. I thought we would look at the budget to actual comparison, if you have it in front of you. So we're right at January 31st. We're 4 months into the fiscal year, and so far there are really no surprises. As Eric mentioned, revenues tracking accordingly, property tax and sales tax. Also, as Eric mentioned, our personnel costs, we're closely scrutinizing personnel costs to keep an eye on the, as he had shared, the overtime and hopefully the existing vacancies to cover those. We have already transferred all of the transfers to capital, the $3.5 million. We still have our $450,000 in contingency, and we hope the goal is obviously to keep that intact. We're still awaiting an invoice for the dispatching, but we have that set up as an encumbrance, so we're in good shape there. Overall, we feel I think we're in pretty good shape. Again, there's been no surprises, and we seem to have sufficiently budgeted to accommodate FY26 expenditures. Are there any questions I could answer?
I don't have any. You have any,
No.
Charles? No. Okay. Thank you, Keith. All right. Item 9 will be the Director of Human Resources report. 9.1 will be your report, Sherry. Yes.
Okay. Before you use my HR report, I will point out a few things on it. Internal promotional opportunities for driver, lieutenant, and captain were announced on February 9th. And external recruitment for driver and lieutenant positions were posted on February 10th. Evaluations for administration personnel are ongoing. The 360-degree reviews had been completed. The self-assessments were completed on the 17th. And performance reviews will be conducted from February 18th through the 6th, March 6th. Our workers' compensation audit is complete. There were certain positions that were reclassified as a result of the audit. And the audit also included the payroll for the final 3 months of the policy period. So between the two, the payroll adjustment and the reclassification, it resulted in an additional premium due of $12,992.57. That concludes my report. Did you have any questions for me?
So they reclassified, who did they reclassify?
Fleet, facilities, groundskeepers, and community outreach
They
coordinator.
put them in the same pool as the firefighters?
Yes, with the exception of the outreach coordinator, they gave her a different code.
Figure a way to get more money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. And I guess we have any injury reports?
Yes, on February 5th, we had one workforce injury that resulted in a loss of work hours. But on February 18th, he was released without restrictions and is back to work.
And it was a burn, is that right?
That's correct.
We're doing an investigation on those when they happen.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I got any questions for Sharon?
No.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Miss Nikki, you're up.
Hello, I apologize for my tardiness. We had a structure fire, which I was going to say Chief Rath got here right after me, so he was on scene with me. But no injuries, so that was good. So my big news is that we have been working on the website, and we have an official launch date of March 16th, so I'm very excited for that. to be able to get that out there. And one of the big things on that website that we're going to be focusing on is updating all of our training information. We'll have a calendar that we'll be able to put our board meetings right there on the front page, our volunteer application. So just excited about that layout and what's to come with that. So March 16th is our launch date. You can see that the report seems light, but that's only because we've been running nonstop. And so I don't know if you noticed, but with our statistics, in January, we had the most calls that we've run so far since I've been here, and that was more than 1,000, and that number was still going up. And so just the amount of fires and accidents and calls that we were running, I think a lot of that due to the winter storm. And I know at the last meeting, we just talked about how people stepped up in just such a great way in all avenues. I want to give a shout out to Texas Roadhouse, who donated dinner to one of our crews who, I don't know that they made it back to the station in 48 hours. So they really stepped up and took care of them. So we really appreciate them doing that. And then as we're working through all of this wildfire that we've got going on, we're going to be talking about just some elevated dangers, working with the media on that, sharing that information with the public. But then we're running out the school year, and so we're getting those requests in for all of those end-of-year celebrations. We've got a lot of career days coming up. I know we're going to be doing some stuff with our volunteer firefighters on the schedule. So I'm just getting out there and talking about what we've got going on in Smith County.
Sounds good. Thank you for all your work.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Item 11, anybody have anything for Nathan? Charles, any questions?
No.
Okay. All right. Item 11, Assistant Executive Director's Report.
Commissioners, I apologize for my voice. I'm going to try to keep this pretty short. I'm starting to lose it. You do have my report in front of you, just like always. Just know everybody's been very busy. Fleet maintenance is currently ongoing. We are still a technician short. We have interviews scheduled this week for some potential candidates. And apparatus are being still repaired. We're still making use of our contracted master EVT to handle things that are a little beyond scope of our current technicians. And progress is being made by our current technicians to increase their level of certification as well. From a facility standpoint, great effort has been underway at the Jamestown project. It's coming along very well. I believe that will come in ahead of schedule. I'm hesitant to tell you how fast ahead of schedule it will be, but I believe we'll come in ahead of schedule and on budget or under budget. If you haven't gotten a chance to go look at it, I'd encourage you to at this point. Right now, they're painting the interior. And then after that, we'll be working on flooring, and we got some exterior work that has to be done and mounting of some additional equipment, but we're getting pretty close to completing that facility. Brandon and his team have been doing an excellent job. Brandon's also, along with his team, been able to get our resolution time down from 34 days to about 18 days with a trend down still. So we're looking forward to getting that within a week or 2 weeks. And our new facilities technician started today. We'll probably have him up here at the next board meeting to introduce him. Thought it would be a little much on his first day. Logistics is ongoing. We have a good working relationship between logistics and operations with a weekly standing meeting to address issues. And we have a standard list of equipment that operations has provided that's going to help us fulfill things a little quicker. Laura and her team have been making tremendous effort to reduce the backlog of tickets, kind of from the holdover from after Tim left. That has paid dividends, and we'll see that in the next round of metrics. I think they're down to around 30 or 40 open tickets at this point, down from around 100. So they're making strides getting that addressed.
Well, I will say our team is doing a marvelous job. We've been up there several times in the building and the living quarters. It's unbelievable how well they've done on putting that in order.
Awesome.
Thanks to them.
Well, we appreciate that, and that's external contractors and internal working on that. From an IT standpoint, the Office 365 migration has been completed, and the computer migration project is in process and making momentum. In addition to that, Fleet and IT are both working now to finalize the CAD equipment and start getting that installed on the trucks. Probably second week of March, we'll start getting those installed. In general, I have attended now ARP's city council meeting as well as troops. Those relationships have been built and we'll continue to build those. I think the reception of the cities is very appreciative that we're attending those meetings, so I look forward to continuing that. And then I'll be in training in Austin in regards to the Texas Library Commission, Library and Archive Commission, with a focus on developing a more formal records management and retention program going forward. Other than that, that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
No, we talked the other day, the man lives next door to the station up there, and they're just excited in that whole community that with the station going in. And he spoke very highly of the ESD2.
All right, we'll move on to 11.2, which is discuss, consider, and take any action on the information technology financial data policy. And this is to repeal the information technology financial data policy and discontinue QuickBooks support effective April 1st, 2026. VFDs will be provided with their company files upon request automatically on April 1st, 2026. You going to speak to that, Larry?
I will, Commissioners. If you'll remember, 2 meetings ago, we had discussed this. It was tabled at the time with the Commissioners. Wanted more information and also focus on making sure our partners had the information that they needed on the VFD side as well. We did some additional research and communication with the VFDs. That information is before you as well. At this point, I still recommend that we go ahead and repeal that information technology financial data policy. We'll continue to host until the VFDs are able to migrate, and we'll provide assistance as possible to migrate their data. The long story short is the data migration process should be pretty simple. There's an online free conversion utility provided by Intuit, which makes QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online. So if they switch to QuickBooks Online, there shouldn't be much of a migration needed. It pretty much walks you through those steps. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
You actually only have 2 that are actually following the deal, right?
That's correct. Only 2 VFDs are actually adhering to this policy at this point. So it's kind of antiquated policy that's not really in use at this point, and it's costing the district about $5,000 a year to host that in direct cost. There's a lot of indirect costs with the virtualization licenses as well as IT support. And we feel like at this point, it no longer makes sense for the district to continue hosting that since the district's no longer on QuickBooks. It hasn't been since 19.
I'll entertain a motion to repeal that policy.
I'll make the motion that we repeal the information technology financial data policy and discontinue QuickBooks effective April the 1st, 2026. VFDs will be provided with their company files upon request or automatically on April the 1st, 2026.
A motion by Commissioner Arnold, we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 11.3, discuss, consider, and take any action on the purchase of a replacement UPS unit for server room 1 at the cost of $34,836.55. Larry, I guess you'll speak on that.
Commissioners, this is not a budgeted or line item budgeted item. It's not something that we foresaw. It is something that this piece of equipment is mission critical to the server room. It's meant to be operated in what's called an N+1 environment, meaning there's always 2 of these units working together. So that way if you have one that fails, the other can pick up. At this point, we're running on just 1. Unfortunately, the manufacturer of this no longer exists. They got bought out by a different manufacturer. We can't replace just 1 unit. We have to replace both. These units are both the original units that were installed when the server room was purchased. And 10 years is a pretty good lifespan on that. We're a little over that at this point. So I just ask that you entertain this and go ahead and approve it. We have figured out how to get this done with just a minor budget amendment that's going to pull from the IT Equipment Reserve Fund. And we will still have a fund balance after this purchase is made.
We're just going to to the other one to cover the cost.
Yes, sir. Most of this will be accomplished through savings that we had on the 365 migration, as well as savings that we had on the computer replacement project.
I'd entertain a motion on that items.
I make a motion to allow the staff to move forward with the purchase of UPS on data span at the cost of $34,836.55, and authorize a budget amendment to increase the budget allocation for Fund 140 line 59,300 by $13,849.10.
Motion by Commissioner Arnold, have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. All right, item 12, Chief of Operations report.
Good evening, Commissioners. A lot of things to kind of go over and highlight from my report. One of the things that's just occurred over the weekend was we were last week able to take delivery of the battalion trucks. Those are here, the Dodge trucks that were being upfitted by EBS down in Houston. We were able to do a couple of things, including the radio transfers that had to happen from the current BC fleet, and get those up and running. So they were responding over the weekend. You'll see the Captain trucks in service, as well as the Dodge trucks that are now operating as the current BC fleet. So thank you for your support with that. One of the fires over the weekend, I repositioned BC number 2 truck, and they're fabulous trucks. So I had to reposition back up to the roadway to find one of the tenders back into one of the wildfires that we had going over the weekend. I'll just jump off into that. We were in a conference call this morning with forestry in the state, looking at some of the weather predictions related to wildland forecasting for our region, our Smith County, and it's pretty concerning. The RH humidity's down in the 20s, and wind gust up is sustained over 20 to 25 miles per hour for tomorrow, the next day through the balance of the week. So we're going to position in such a way that we're ready to take on those fires. That particular fire I mentioned just a moment ago was rapidly moving on a 100-acre plot and moving its structures, and really without dozers on the ground, we were going to be in trouble pretty quickly. Texas Forest also supported us with a second dozer, and one of the ranchers provided a third. So we were able to get containment on it late into the night, but pretty aggressive fire behavior is what we're seeing now. We're seeing lots of these fires breaking out mid-afternoon. Fortunately, we're getting on them fairly quick, but I'd ask for all of our VFDs, our VFD chiefs, to support us with upstaffing their brush apparatus with their wildland trained personnel to the extent possible, so that we have a good posture, much like we did in winter weather, posturing ourselves in such a way that we're ready to roll on those kind of things. Moving on with the other delivery, Chapel Hill brush truck now is ready to go in service. So I'll be working with Chief Peterson on that. We'll probably do some type of a push-in ceremony for that this upcoming week. So look forward to extending some invitations to do that if you're able to make an attendance there when we do that. Obviously, we probably need to go sooner than later with making that apparatus, but we have equipped it very nicely with some things that we had on hand. A little update on CAD and a little recognition for Chief Smith, his work with all parties, all stakeholders involved with the CAD development, including Motorola, including our partners with Lindell and City of White House Fire, and getting our response models input into the system. From time to time we exchange frustrations with how the system is coming along, and yet his expertise and knowledge about the county and how we got where we're at and making those response models as efficient and as effective as possible. What Larry spoke of a moment ago, the installation, we'll be really ramping up on that for the equipment to go in those frontline vehicles. The tablets will still be very effective on the Flex Motorola system, and so we've got plans for how that will look. In addition to that, the battalion trucks that I just mentioned, all the hardware was installed by EVS on those two pieces of equipment. So we're making progress. It's not quite as quick as I had championed with you last Christmas, but a couple of battle scars and some negotiations with our stakeholders throughout the county to get the best product that we can, especially for our citizens that are expecting our service delivery. All right, a little bit in addition, another champion for Chief Smith. He didn't know I was doing any of this, but just a recognition of his work related to the NARI's rollout. I think, Commissioners, you may have seen that we got a few reports behind during the month of January by no intention of our own, but some of the flaws in the system, and the federal government may not have done full due diligence on the rollout of how that system was put in place. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter. It's all got to get the corrections in place so that we can complete those reports and make sure that our documentation and reporting is as clear and efficient and effective as possible. With all of that said, we have made great strides at catching those up and feel like we're on pace now to stay up and on pace with that. I won't indulge you much further unless you have questions related to recruitment. Sherry did a great job of explaining where we're at with that. And we've also called up, we had 12 remaining names on our recruitment firefighter list. So we've reached out and found intention that they still would like to work for us. So they've remained from our previous list. And an opportunity to dip back into that. So we're working to get those up and running, really with our targets set on Jamestown opening up in the April timeframe. In my report, I talk about health and wellness, and Chief Strickland's been working hard on our health and wellness plan. The House bill legislation that was passed and signed by the governor related to cancer screenings is in place. That's House Bill 198. And it's one of those unfunded mandates. Yet, really, when we look at that, Commissioner, some of you have had direct conversation with it related to cancer screening, not only for our paid staff, but our ability to reach back and those that have been with the district and do some cancer screenings and hopefully find none. But if it's there, we want to find it as early as possible. And so we'll be in short order bringing a package for you to consider in meetings to come. That's the highlights of my report. We continue to do our walkthroughs, our company level walkthroughs, familiarization, as well as our hydrant maintenance and turning of plugs, despite that we get a little pushback from some of the water districts at times. This happens or that happens, but we try to work through that and be as cooperative as we can. But I continue to see the green stems that were part of our request of the crews. Those are the top stem of the hydrant, meaning that hydrant's been turned and it's a good plug. So we're seeing those across the county, and I'm proud of that work that's ongoing. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Talking about this new report system, we got training out to everybody, volunteers and paid guys alike, so they know how to fill them out.
There's been ongoing work to answer questions. I don't do a whole lot of reports, Commissioners, but I have had to jump back in and do one of the reports, and lo and behold, Chief Smith rejected it. He said that I failed to put the officer in charge, and that was true. But it's pretty intuitive. Once you get through a few of those, they're fairly intuitive, and we're going to get there. We're going to be fine.
Well, anytime you change reports up there, always you have to train on them.
Well, you think about how long INFRS had been in place for the fire service, and I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I know it's more than 25 years. So, in a new system, a rollout, and anything that it's all change.
I know down in ARP, they're working on their water system.
Yes, sir.
Are we keeping up with them on what hydrants are going out? And
Ye-
I know we're probably not testing a whole lot right now
Correct.
because we don't want to put any pressure on the system.
Excellent point. They have a pretty sizable project going on for the city of ARP, and a few of the lieutenants that are assigned there are keeping us up to speed on that, trying to make sure that we're up to date on that, but making sure that we get initial water coming with us. The
Just in case.
That's right. There you go.
Any questions, folks? Thank you, Chief. All right. Item 12.2, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on totally integrated life support tiles training, and approve the request for up to 25 slots in tiles at a cost not to exceed $19,750.
Yeah, Commissioners, this is one that we're doing every other year. I sat through it right at almost 2 years ago in April, and this is the integrated card class. This is looking at how the integration of advanced life support, pediatric life support, and trauma life coming together to look at a patient holistically rather than as an individual card, as an individual sit of a class. So I found it to be a very effective class, a very useful class. This is targeted at all of our advanced providers, so all of our paramedics and all of our advanced EMTs. And as you know, we've been working on that project and making progress with that. We reported to you the last board meeting where we were with all EMTs now in terms of our paid staff, and then the advanced EMTs and the work that we're doing with that. We hope to roll out another advanced class in the year sometime, bring before you at a later date. But this is that ongoing maintenance for that. It also includes an invite, and we've reached out to our volunteer chiefs to make sure that any of those that need to come along and have those certifications maintained are available to do that.
I'd entertain a motion to approve that particular item.
I make a motion, we approve 12.2, approve the request for up to 25 slots in TILS at a cost not to exceed $19,750.00.
Have a motion by Commissioner Arnold, have a second? Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. The only thing I'll say is it's good to be able to do all those card classes at once instead of having to go
No doubt.
here, there, and everywhere else.
I just found it to be more useful. It integrates the patient.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, 12.3, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on contract with RW Consulting. Who's going to speak on that?
Yep.
There he is.
No, I've got it. Commissioners, this is when we came before you last year in June, we had a trial program that you approved as a Board of Commissioners to look at this particular consultant to help and assist us with that cost recovery. Our experience with that particular company has been phenomenal. It has helped in significant ways, and the tangibles on that, the deliverables, is that we have resulted in $504,264 of deployment reimbursement. We have 4 additional deployment, and now 5 with the most recent deployment after I wrote this, that are in some form of progress along the way. And so we expect that those recoveries to be forthcoming for you. Generally speaking, this has been an excellent trial program. The relationship and the product has been exactly what we would expect. And I think the deliverables is what we focus on, that the proof's in the pudding. It really has worked.
The staff recommends approval of the continued services with RW Consulting until further notice, for ensuring the continuity of reimbursements, recovery operations, and allowing district personnel to remain focused on core emergency service delivery. also to allow Chief Reader to sign all related documents on that contract. So,
I'll make that motion.
okay, a motion by Commissioner Arnold, that we continue the service with RW Consulting and have Chief Reader sign all related documents. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Yeah, reimbursements are coming a lot faster because it was sometimes a year or longer
Yeah.
before we get them.
Faster and more accurate.
Yes.
They are.
I would even say that, the more accurate translates into a better return. Yeah, because there's making sure that we're getting the maximum that should be provided to the district.
All right, item 12.4, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on the purchase of structural PPE. Approve the purchase of structural PPE from NAFCO in the amount of $549.72.
Yeah, Commissioners, this is a pretty straightforward request. This is line item budgeted. This was completely planned within the budget process and is an execution of that planning. This includes some of the gear for our last hire. This also includes gear for Winona VFD members, as well as hoods and gloves and things that were planned for this year's budget. So, my observation of everything in here is exactly what we were planning on purchasing this year.
My question, was any of this on grants, or is this just normal budget?
Yeah,
stuff?
there are some grants that are coming through. I'm having a lot of conversation with our VFD chiefs about some alternative things. There's really some discussion about some improvements, especially in some of our roadway scene management. So those are ongoing discussions, and I'm not quite ready for you now. None of that is this. This is our structural PPE.
I'll make the motion, we approve the purchase of the structural PPE from NAFCO in the amount of $186,549.72.
A motion by Commissioner Wilson to approve the purchase of structural PPE from NAFCO in the amount of $186,549.72. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Arnold. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Item 13, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on fire chiefs presenting, discussing issues with the board for future action. Art.
It's only been a few weeks since our last meeting, so not a whole lot of updates. Our guys are trying to stay active. I have one that wasn't active in January. It's because he got hurt on his EMS job, and now he's on workers' comp, so he's going to be out for, of course, all of February and maybe even part of March. Hopefully we'll have him back soon, and we'll be back to 100% active. I've got one that is finishing up EMT school. He's got about 3 weeks left. As we mentioned, we just had a couple grants come through. One of them is the training aids grants, which we mentioned a few months ago that we're going to take that $10,000 towards the training field. I believe it's phase 2 to help pay for that part of that. And then we got the PPE grant, like Chief Greaser mentioned. We're working out on what that will look like. And then update on the hydrants. I talked to the city a few weeks ago. They're almost done with the west side of the tracks. They'll be moving to the east side of the tracks. Of course, our hydrant that's right in front of our station has been out for about 6 months. That's one of the first ones they're going to come and work on because it probably gets the most use in the whole city. But they should be done with the whole project in about 6 months. And then our volunteers are going to go around and response master, remap the hydrants. Some of them got moved a little bit, got moved opposite corners, just making sure that they're in our system. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Might also turn that information into the 911 district and they can put it on their maps too.
Okay.
And that way,
Yes, sir.
everybody will have it. So,
Yes, sir.
thank you, Chief.
All right.
Willard, Chief DeGance.
Good evening. Wow, that was special. Don't know what that was about. I want to start out with some recognition for a pretty spectacular group of people. Last night we had our recognition dinner for Bullard, so our members got this recognition last night. But back on July 14th, 2025, there was a missing person event that ended up spanning several hours. It took assets from all over the county to come together. Chief Smith was the incident commander out there on it. So from the Bullard side, we awarded a unit citation for those that participated in it. There were 23 individuals that participated in that, and that spanned across Smith County ESD2, Chapel Hill, White House, and Flint Grisham. They all came together. About a 4.5-hour search. It did result in successfully locating them. Kind of the ironic part was Assistant Chief Rath was out with the drone and flying the drone, and the patient, aka victim in this, was suffering from some memory lapses. And he recalls laying on the ground where he was hidden and watching the drone fly over, and he referenced it as a UFO. And even though we were trying to find him, so the work that Chief Rath is doing is very worthwhile. So I'll pass. We have certificates of recognition for everybody. Yeah. Pass them around. On the recruiting side, we've been keeping Sherry and Ms. Wimberly very busy, and I appreciate all the time, effort, and energy that they're putting into getting us processed and ensuring that we have quality personnel coming on board. Right now, we have 17 that have made it through the process. We have 2 that are in the pipeline, and I have 3 applications that we are still vetting, doing our initial vetting. So we're looking to have about 21 personnel here very shortly. And we're getting a mix, probably about 10% that are coming in with some sort of experience, and then the other 90% are new people. We're hoping to get 2 years out of them, but we'll see. On the grant front, as we all know, it's been a very good season for everyone. We've been working with Chief Greaser on the idea of a new wildland piece. That idea is rapidly coming to the point where we think we're going to be able to contribute our part. We have disposed of the military Humvee, which was Brush 256. It went to the East Coast up in New Jersey. We disposed of our retired tender. That went to the West Coast out onto a ranch there. Our board has declared the transport and the plow vehicle as surplus. ESD Fleet has readied that for sale. We're doing a local advertisement right now before we put that out internationally. We've been using the garage platform, so we pay, and this is coming out of the Bullard, this is not the taxpayer money, so we pay a commission to have them sell it, but we've had great success. So we're looking to be able to put another piece of very useful medium-duty equipment. We won't call it heavy equipment, it won't be a dozer, but something along a track steer that can get into smaller, tighter spaces. And that'll be a Bullard contribution to what the capabilities of Smith County are. On our response front, I didn't see any delayed or single responses out of the district. It looks like we were still hovering right around that 1,000-hour magic mark that we always have between training and our rostering. The TILS program, I have particular interest in that. As a former paramedic, I let my license expire in 2021. Then in 2024, I decided to get back into the fire service. So I reached out to Chief Greaser and said, hey, would it be of value to have an old dog like me back in the program? So I've thrown my name in the hat for that TILS. That will get me the certifications that I need to go back and challenge the National Registry Paramedic exam and give us another asset in the fleet. So across the board, I believe that we've been getting good communications and that there's a lot of good things that are happening out there that's going to benefit all of us across the board. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir. Sound like you're doing good with your recruitment and stuff. So.
Thank you.
Keep doing it. Thank you. Chapel Hill, Chief Peterson.
Yeah, we've been busy as well out there in Chapel Hill this last few months. First, we did a training of CPR and also emergency vehicle driving, EVOT, and at Chapel Hill the last 2 months. And so the EVOT was real good. In fact, out of that, we got 2 of our guys that finished up their SFMA support. So we got them to have their certification. Then we also had one member is received the SF for support, and now he's starting to work a shifts. So we got him to work shifts to get his hours in now. So he did his first one I think 2 days ago. So he's starting to work shifts now to help out on that. Then we had the MDA drive that we did for our association. I was kind of heading that up. We went out to Walmart and we raised $1,757.98 in about 4 hours to help the MDA out. We had a few of the other department help with that as well. I also had, like I say, myself and my one board member went to the safety conference, as we did. It was a good time down there and learned some stuff down there as well. Then we had, like I say, during that winter weather, I had 5 guys that we staffed our station, helped out for the whole weekend and through the next day for a little bit too, through on that. So we helped out with those calls they had. I worked with the crew they had. We kind of split it back and forth so it wouldn't wear down 2 people or 3 people down. Then we got members. We have 2 of them just going. I have one that just got already done his background and everything else. I got him working now on his support stuff. And I also just sent in a new one, so I got another application going through the system as well. So I got 2 more coming in. And then our training we had for this last month was on forcible entry. We did that with our group as well as that, to try to keep them up on our tool that we have. We have our forcible entry tool in Chapel Hill, so we use that. On top of that, I also helped out with the White House High School with that, what do you call that one with the kids? TPSA, where the kids do their testing. Me and my assistant chief was some of the judges that did the physical fitness exercise. And the kids did real well on that. So we helped out with that. And then talking about the grants, like I said, we did get the grant for our brush 1 come in. In fact, we turned over $93,322.25 over to help out with that truck. And I'll be ready for that truck coming. I can come in this week, help with wildfire. Like I said, also we had our grants, our training aids. We bought quite a few things. We got a mannequin that we use out throughout the county. Besides CPR, that Todd does regular for our CPR. He got some mannequins there, plus some other books and everything else. We got another projector to help out too as well. Now also we received our RISC grant and also a PPE grant, and we're working with that as well. Then in return, with that brush truck coming in, we had to give up my engine 2. In return, I gave our engine 2 to Nature's Volunteer Fire Department that needed an engine. And so he came and got it this last Friday. And when in fact, he called me again today. He said in the last year they had never had a structure fire in that area. Just by getting it Friday, they had a structure fire Saturday in their district, and then also they had another one today. So within 2 or 3 days, they had a structure fire. And they're well like the way used to that truck now. So we're helping them out with that because they needed one bad. And then the last thing I got is our chili supper is this Saturday. So you're all welcome to come out and have some chili at the Chapel Hill High School.
What time is it?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock at the high school cafeteria.
They do have good chili.
Yep. And we got door prizes too as well. And that's all I have.
Anybody have any questions today? Thank you, Chief. Point Gresham, Assistant Chief Rath.
Good evening, Commissioners. A few notes, so I know it's already kind of come up already, but obviously we've flown a few drone missions over the last month or so. Was able to help out on some of those wildfires that we had over the weekend. I think I provided a reasonable amount of support for that. I hope so. On the recruitment front, we've got some people in the pipeline. Actually, as we were sitting in this meeting, I had somebody drop off an application at the station. Captain Lowry let me know that somebody was dropping off an application. So we've got some new people coming in. Those people are going through some training as we bring them in. So I just had one person complete Officer 1, that's Firefighter Woodard, and one of our brand new people who is currently in the military. He just completed his wildland training as well and has been issued out all his equipment from the ESD. So we've got an additional wildland firefighter there. I know it's already been discussed, the nearest change and some of the difficulties around that. We have seen some challenges with that because of some system errors. We've had some people kind of falling off of reports. We're tracking on our side all the reports or all the people that are responding, just so we can try to true it up at the end. But there are some, challenges there with the system, and I've spoken with Larry about that before. QuickBooks, I had a quick question, so I know that you all have already made the motion on it. During the discussion with the ESD, there was a discussion around the funding of that for the VFDs. I know it wasn't explicitly stated in the motion. I wanted to verify, is that going to be covered by the ESD for the cost of that?
If I may. Go ahead. Like the ESD covers for any cost associated with running a volunteer fire department. Based on that, I would say yes.
Okay.
As long as, it's got to be reasonable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A desktop subscription to QuickBooks would typically cost, or what an online subscription would cost. So yes,
right. Okay.
The ESD will cover that.
Okay.
It's going to be less than $5,000 for 2 years.
Oh, absolutely, and I wouldn't expect anything like that, but I just wanted to make sure that.
Probably per year or something for that.
Right, Flint Gresham is one of the departments, so I've had this conversation with Mr. Locke about this as well, but.
I would anticipate other VFD departments too to come clean now and ask to be reimbursed for whatever they have used in the past. So.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I understood the intent there properly.
No problem.
Okay, excellent. Over the weekend, before we got all those wonderful grass fires that we had over the weekend, the Flint Gresham, White House, Chapel Hill, Winona departments came together at the old Flint Gresham station and put a lot of work into renovating that station so the Volunteer Firefighters Association currently is subleasing it from us. We're going to use it as a training facility and a meeting facility for the association. We've done a lot of work on it to renovate it. There's still some work to be done, but this Saturday we did a lot of work with the assistance, like I said, of White House, Winona, Chapel Hill, and Flint Gresham. On the responses, so we've got a little bit of a competition going on in Flint Gresham right now to see who can get the most calls in the year. And I am very pleased to tell you that I am not the #1 responder right now. Jacob Miles, who is a firefighter on our department, is the #1. I think he's the #1 responder in the county right now from the amount of calls that he's been running. But we're very proud of the work that he's done, and I'm happy that somebody has taken that award from me right now. We'll see if he can maintain it. I'm right behind him, but hopefully he keeps up the response. We've also had quite a few people who have been doing some shift work, especially during the ice storm, but even beyond that, who have been going up and staying at the station to roster brush trucks and things like that. So lots of good effort from our department. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
White House, Chief Tate.
Good evening, Commissioners. Short and sweet here. So Captain Bewley has notified me that we have 2 members that are in the final process with the ESD as far as drug testing and everything should be coming on board hopefully in the next week or so. We had 2 members that will complete their support and wildland this week, she said. They have a couple of items they need to clean up. She's got those scheduled for this week, so they'll be done and they'll be able to run calls. We have 1 member that completed heavy rescue training over at Carthage last weekend. Said it was a really good class. It's one that I've been to, not at Carthage, but same instructors at another location, so I know what he got. A real good class. We had, as Chief Peterson mentioned, 7 people from various VFDs that participated at White House High School with the Texas Public Safety Student Association judging event. They asked us to do that last year. The president of TPSA is the instructor at White House High School, so he reached out to us. They moved this competition around on a 2-year basis, so this was year 2. So I think we're probably done with it for a little while, but I think our guys had a good time, and I got some good feedback from students out there as well on that. I know I'm missing something here. We were notified, and several other departments mentioned this, in round 3 of the Forest Service grant program that was announced on February 13th. We received a PPE grant and a training aid grant. So this fiscal year for the Forest Service, that brings grants to White House to $380,000 that we've received. So look forward to getting all that done. We've been working with Chief Cruiser on the tender grant. By the way, I got the 3rd bid request in, so we need to schedule that. Maybe look at a special call meeting and see if we can't get that approved and moving forward with the build on those. That's all I've got. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Chief Allen from Winona, last but least.
Well, as far as Winona goes, we participated in a couple of different trainings. The CPR BLS training over in Chapel Hill was able to get some folks CPR certified, which was very beneficial to us. We participated in a Mayday RIT training there in Winona. Captain Hyatt put that on for us, and well, me as the fireman got to go have a little fun there. They did the cone course. I had 2 complete their support certification with the cone course, was able to get them up and going and certified, and then I had 2 that attend safety, which total of man hours too from between rostering this last month was 615, so we've seen definitely a spike in that, which is beneficial. I've got 3 enrolled in online classes now for incident safety officer and instructor 1, so we just keep moving forward. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. All right. Item 14 will be a closed session. The board will convene in closed session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. No action shall be taken while the board is in closed session. Any final action, final decision, or final vote shall be taken after the board reconvenes in open session. back to order at 7:38 PM. And there is no action to be taken after closed session. And at this time, I tell you guys just to thank you for the job you're doing. Keep doing the good job you are doing. Watch out for yourself, your family, stay safe, and you know, God bless you all for what you do. You know, I know what it takes to do that. It's hard to leave your family sometimes, and I know it's hard to work 2 days in a row and leave your families at home. So we just appreciate everything you do. So, do you have anything, Charles?
No.
No? Thank you. Okay. All right. With that being said, we are adjourned at 7:00.